Hello. Now that's even better. Hello, everyone. So, I think that's a bit too loud. We will be starting in about 5 or 10 minutes, I'd say. So please take a seat. Make yourselves at home. Also, the ladies and gentlemen that aren't registered, please get registered so that you'll be able to sit down, so that we can get the ceremony started. We just have to wait around for the other mob there. Longest time. Blackfella time. Ah. Yeah, so come forward if you want to get the traditional ceremony started. If you want to get smoked, we'll get that started now. So yeah, if you want to get smoked or, get started, come up. Don't be shame. Be game. So if you'd like to come around to the side here, if you want to come through to get smoked, you can all line up over this side.
Good morning, everybody. Yalakan Bachi. Bachi means beautiful, good, fine in Larrakia language. You're in Larrakia country. We're performing the smoking ceremony. Brother Boy just started the fire in the traditional way. No matches, no lighter, using the elements of our surroundings from the land. We get everything we need from the land, the food, spiritual healing. We do the smoking ceremony. The smoke is special bark, special paper bark, special leaf. They have healing and cleansing to clear the air, to make way for the future. Brother Tony here playing the ditch, have we been playing since the first day. These ceremonies that we are performing been done from the first day. The way I painted myself this morning, Larrakia, never changed. Larrakia been painting themselves from the same way from the first day. Always was, always will be. So please come forward, walk through the smoke, embrace it, pour it to yourself. In that is healing. You right there, bub? Yeah. KK, can you do your thing, please? You don't want it? You don't?
Oh. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you to Tony Lee and Aunty June Mills for that beautiful smoking ceremony. So yeah, give him another round of applause. Deadly. So welcome to ChangeFest 2021. Woo! Come on, you can do better than that. Ah, deadly. It's so great to see so many people here today, truly. My name is Edwin Fejo. I'll be the deadly MC for today, so please make sure you give me a round of applause. Deadly. So a bit of housekeeping. The bins are located around the venue, so if you have any unwanted rubbish, just chuck them in the bin or just keep a hold of them. First aid is over this side. If any of you have any cuts or anything, or anything serious, go check them over there. If not, call the ambulance. So we also have the toilets up in the back there. So if you can see the library, biggest sign there. So if you go into the library, turn to the right, you'll find your toilets there. If not, there are block toilets over this side where I'm pointing. Water and sunscreen. So if you're dehydrated, water's over at the table over there, and sunscreen. So if you're showing too much skin, go over there. Chuck some sunscreen on. Yeah. That's at the catering table, so that's over that side. So a big hello to our live audience here today. Hello. Again. And I think we were supposed to have a online audience. I don't know if this is the camera here, but hello. It is? It is, your mob. But yeah, so sorry to Melbourne and Melbourne, Victoria for what is happening down there. You guys couldn't make it up here today, so yeah, hopefully this will be deadly for you to actually see, so yeah. Welcome. Hope you get a bit of a sense of this fabulous place 20 kilometres from Darwin City across the Barrama line. Now, I'm not ancient, so I don't know where the Barrama line is. So all my deadly elders here should help me. You know where the Barrama line is?
Yeah, Barrama Light. What for? We should be worried about the Palmerston line. Yeah.
So if you're coming from Darwin, crossing the Barrama line, make sure you bring a 6-pack. Jack Daniel will do. Just drop it off at my place. I'll take good care of it. Now, back on a serious note, I'd like to welcome to the stage the Garamilla dancers. Tony Lee is already here playing the didge. He's going to play some didge some more. And from the youth mill, yours truly, Deadly Edwin. So yeah, if we could get Noel and that mob to come up. So we'd like to give it up to the Garamala dancers. So the traditional man dance that they do, that's called Wanga, and the women's dance is called Mirak. So yeah, thank you, Mom. One more. Take the stage away, yeah? Really loud.
If the ladies and men want to come and join in, the ladies this side and the men's side, and we'll teach us how to dance.
Deadly. So give them another round of applause, please. Well, hello again. So on a serious note, my name's Edwin Fejo. I'm a proud Larrakia person. My people, the Larrakia people, are the traditional custodians of the Darwin region and surrounding areas, and we comprise of both fresh and predominantly saltwater people. I would like to respectfully acknowledge the true custodian holders of this land and pay respect to the elders past, present, and emerging. And on their behalf, I welcome you here today. Since the beginning of time, our ancestors, elders, communities, and families have educated our children about the depth, beauty, and strength of our culture, and continue to pass on their knowledge to each generation, carrying forward one of the oldest living cultures on earth today. As young people, it is now our responsibility to maintain our family bloodlines and cultural integrity. While there has been great change to this vast land over the generations, we know in our hearts that the story and the spirits of the Indigenous First Peoples throughout Australia will always be written in our landscape. We as Indigenous people are born of the spirit of this country. It is where we are conceived from. It is our home. It is where we belong. We have sacred relationships with various animals and lands which connect us to both the physical and the spiritual world that is strengthened by an obligation to care for each other and the natural environment. It is a birthright that has been handed down from our bloodlines from generation to generation. Our country is our mother. In a sense, our country is us. Welcome to this land. Okay, well, I'm supposed to thank all of us. So I'd just like to thank you, Mob, again for the smoking ceremony. Thank Uncle Tony. Thank the Garamilla dancers. And yeah, I'd like to thank you, Mob, for letting me welcome you to this beautiful land I call home. All of us call home. So this is a pretty cool event. Sorry, is that me? Hello, hello. Oh, my bad. Back to what I was saying. So this is a pretty cool event with people making change from all over Australia. We'd never heard of ChangeFest, a national celebration place-based social change. So recognising that Australia has hundreds of different First Nation countries and we need to look after them and all the people who live there. If that's place-based change, then I'm aboard. But we all know that we need to make a change in the system to do that first. Well, to tell us a little bit more about that, I'd like to welcome the beautiful Kerry Graham, if she's here. There she is.
Hello everyone, welcome to ChangeFest. Can we give a big hand of applause to you? You're extraordinary. I have a very small and very honoured role. So ChangeFest was born in a place called Logan and then carried in a place called Mount Druitt. And my role is to introduce you to the elders from those two communities to tell the ChangeFest story so far. And all of us are coming together to keep writing that story. So with help from volunteers to bring chairs, may I please introduce Aunty Faith Green and Uncle Noel Summers from Royal Yarrigo, Carabal. Thank you very much. In Logan, Queensland. And followed by Aunty Jenny Ebsworth, Aunty Elaine Gordon, and Aunty Margaret Farrell from Barbarian Aboriginal Corporation in Mount Druitt. Please make them welcome. So join us as we come together to hear about how ChangeFest came to be. Who would like to speak? Uncle Noel.
The first ChangeFest, as you know, was held in Logan. The Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people were invited to participate. We only had sort of a small token role, but we pushed and pushed, and we got fair representation. Since then, we made a ChangeFest statement. We made that first one. There's supposed to be only one for the ChangeFest group, but we pushed that hard. We actually made a statement on behalf of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Since then, we've gone on to Mount Druitt for the second one, and we were welcomed by these lovely ladies here. It was a great turnout down there too. Now we're with Larrakia people, and I'm glad to see that the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have a good representation. ChangeFest is all about trying to get community to run community. Not the government running us, telling us what we can do and what we can't do. We know what happens in our communities. We know what's the best way to deal with it. And we as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have to do that because, as you know, in every city, the situation is different. What works in Logan may not work up here, and vice versa. So I'm glad to see that we have got a voice now, and I'd just like to see it carry on. Before I finish my speech, I'll hand Aunty Faith, but I'd like to award to Aunty June, the Larrakia people, our first ChangeFest statement. Aunty June.
Thank you, Uncle.
Just from myself, I'd just like to also acknowledge the country that we're on, the Larrakia country, and I just want to back up what Uncle said. We did a lot in Logan to also stand up for our mob, and also ChangeFest, and like the stuff that was happening there was, you know, around vulnerable people and vulnerable children. And I said to Uncle and the aunties, well, aren't we that? And so for us, we just put our heads together, and to see this now carrying on with the First Nation being a part of it, it's really a big change for us, and we're really happy and blessed. And I'd like to hand it over to Aunty Jenny now from Mount Druitt. Good morning, Darwin and visitors. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this country and pay respects to elders, past, present, and emergent, and future leaders. And we can see that happening here today, the future leaders. We were first introduced to ChangeFest to Monica through social services, Jesuit Social Services, who came to our place. We have an organisation in Mount Druitt called Barbarian Elders, and us three are the directors, and we also have one that's not really well at the moment that couldn't come, Aunty Daisy Barker. We didn't know what ChangeFest was all about, but we know as Aboriginal people that things need to change for knowledge and respected as the true custodians of this land. And as Aboriginal people, we deserve the respect that we should have received on first arrival, which we didn't receive. And we were quite honoured, and we just met this beautiful Aunty Faith here. She's encouraged us all the way, and we were nervous coming to this country because we've lost a lot of culture down in our area, but coming to meet, I'm just so blessed and honoured to be able to come to your country, and I just have the utmost respect, and I love Aboriginal people no matter where we are, and everybody else as well. But, you know, I'm just grateful and be honoured, and we have a little humble place, and going to Aunty June's little place, it just reminded me of our group down there. We come together to support our people, you know, because we don't need a hand out, we need a hand up, and this is how it should be. So I'm very honoured to be here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aunty Jenny. I'm Aunty Margaret. I'd like to pay my respects to the Larrakia Nation on which we are standing today. I wasn't a part of the ChangeFest. I had other matters to attend to on that week. But as I've been going to the meetings with Aunty Faith and all the other ladies that are involved, it's all about bringing community together and listening to what people have to say, and to have a voice, and to to make a change, you know, along those lines, and not to be put down by politicians and so-called governments and people like that, but do it in our way, in a cultural way. So, you know, that's what I'm thinking of on those lines, you know. So I'll give you to Aunty Elaine now.
Hi. I'd also like to pay my respects to the Larrakia Nation and, one of our girls just arrived. And to everyone else here today, to the elders, past, present, and all the emerging young people that are standing up and learning. And they're not just learning from us, we're also learning from them. And I think that's important. I think the young people have got a lot to say, and it's them that are really, you know, the things that go on today, you know, they got to deal with so much. It's all this other stuff, you know, phones for a start, you know, and I don't know, I'm just passionate about helping people. Us down in Mount Druitt area, we come from all over Australia. You know, we're just not one nation. We're many, many nations down there, and you know, and we're all learning to live together, get together, and learning off each other about our different areas where we come from. And we're very honoured to be here today. I just love being around powerful people, you know, that are making a difference in our world, because our world's not the same as anyone else's world, because in this country no one's been through the trauma that we have, so we live in a different world, and so I'm very honoured to be here today and to pass on whatever knowledge I can and to learn from everyone here. Thank you.
That's all? You mob are deadly. Thank you, mob. I'd just like to give them another round of applause to our beautiful elders. Before we go on with the proceedings, Auntie, I just got a message from a little birdie that someone's car needs to be removed. So it's a champagne Honda station wagon, NT plate CC 93 XS. Hey! Don't give her a fine. She's traditional. Come on, catching her. Slide them. Yeah. Golly. You don't want to get in my car, man. Okay, well, we've got this beautiful lady speaking right now, so, so I'll hand you over to her. So here you go.
Thank you, darling. I think. I can't see any paddy wagons there yet, but I'll try it. No, I don't want to make it brief. I've been waiting for months and months and months for this. I'm not going to be brief. If I get a fine, that's okay. Yeah, thank you. See, I knew that. No, I didn't really, but, you know, it's only logical. Yeah. Gee, welcome to country. My goodness, I do it a lot. Now, those elders were being very modest. Yeah, because when I went to Mount Druitt, by accident, my daughter wouldn't go anywhere without me. go work that out. But anyway, I found myself in Mount Druitt, didn't I, for the last Change Fest. And it was wonderful. Now, I got to meet the beautiful elders from that country, Mount Druitt, Faith, Aunty Jenny, Aunty Elaine, Aunty Margaret, and Uncle have just come and flogged me after, but no, sorry. Uncle Noel, sorry about that. They were just there every day. And, you know, I worked it out a long time ago in my life, you know, any success in whatever you want to do, just rock up. Even if you don't have a program, you don't even know what you're doing, you don't even know what you're there for, just rock up. Yeah, it's true. And they did. Every day they were there, beautiful, smiling, happy, and they were just there for us. And I just love that, aunties. I really love that. And Uncle Greg, I must mention Uncle Greg, who gave us the most beautiful welcome to country down there in Mount Druitt. And yeah, I'd like to extend a thank you to Uncle Greg. I did promise that I'd make sure my kid looked after him, but anyway, thank you for taking the effort to travel, because I know, you know, it takes a lot for us to drag us away from country, to God, and that's what country is for us. Like it's our mother. We love our country, where we're from. So I guess you can all put up your hands if you've seen the Tyndall map, which is the closest thing to a, you know, representation of the reality for our people in this land. They call it a language map, but it's much bigger than that, much deeper than that. That means we come from that place. We come out of that earth, wherever we're saying, it's our mother. We come from there. So, and it's loaded. It's loaded in the sense that the intimate connection that we have, that runs through our blood, goes right to the beginning of time, the first day. Our people right across this continent will say, we come from this land. We come from this land, and that's loaded. Not only we come from that, we came from the land that we stand on, and our bloodlines, which go back for centuries, have intimate knowledge of that land and the storylines and the way to behave on that country and how to be good on country and how the country cares for us. Now, I wouldn't dare go down and speak up on other people's country without first seeking the permission of the elders and the blessing. It's a part of our law. So the welcome to country is a big part of our law. It's a cultural protocol. And it's very defined about people who can speak for country and people who can do stuff. So I can remember the day when we weren't even allowed to go anywhere. Like now, there's 2021, anyone can go anywhere and jump on a plane and go anywhere they like. But it wasn't like that. We have to first seek permission to go and then seek permission to think. And that's how it unfolded. And it's still strong with us. It's still strong with us. That need to first seek permission and blessing from people from country for you to be able to operate on other people's country in the proper way. Now, I like to talk about the fact that we need all the help we can get. We are a minority in this land now. We are, 0.5% or 1%, who knows? Even though we're like 100% in the jails. But don't worry about that. Worry about the minority. We need all the help we can get. And we thank you for everything. We should seek out the elders in the whatever land we are in and help out. Ask, what do you need? Even if we can't do it, doesn't matter. At least make contact, engage, and find out what people from country need. It might be something really simple. There might be a nanny just, I just want to make a book for my grandchildren. You know, really basic stuff. I might need a lift to a hospital, whatever, it doesn't matter. Make that contact. That's all about the welcome to country. When you meet people from country, whether it's Larrakia or wherever it is, you engage and you meet the people and then it goes on. I like to say the welcome to country is a lifetime experience. There's no end to it. Once you meet the community, and then you start learning about which is the good places, which is everything that you need. Because you know what, at the end of the day, it's like, it sounds like authority, but it's not authority, it's actually responsibility. We feel, and especially the elders, and the young ones will grow into it. I'm very proud. Auntie Jenny's got like 4 generations here. Hey, Auntie Jenny? And me too. My mum, me, my daughter, and Larry. Well, that's 4 generations. How cool is that? And there's probably more. I'm sorry if there's probably more, but it's important. It's important that knowledge is shared knowledge and it goes down the line. And yeah. So what I was going to say is the welcome to country. It's a responsibility. That's what we feel when people come to our country. We feel responsibility to do the best that we can. Best tucker, best place to sleep, best place to go and see. That's the way it goes. It's more than authority, it's responsibility. And I'll tell you that our people right across this country, what they call Australia now, we don't call it Australia. We call it Larrakia, Kungarakan, Wajigin, Arana, all the names that you'll find on that map, which they call the language map. Well, it's more than that. Language map, bloodline map, everything map. Even though it probably needs a little bit of tweaking by our people to go over it thoroughly, study them borderline. They say, oh, no, that line a little bit crooked there. Nah, that's their mother mob, and this is... But that'll happen. Maybe that's one good change that'll happen. So, I think in the very least, like I say, welcome to country will take many forms. It might be a dance, it might be a song, it might be whatever it is, whatever we people choose to do on that occasion to extend that welcome. So, I should say, sorry, just checking the car. I should... No one want to steal that car. They wouldn't know what to take, true. So much junk in it. They'll be like, oh. Anyway. That's a good change. I'll just clean it out one day. Find all those things that I lost 6 months ago. What I would like to say is just pass a little couple of words which would be nice for Larrakia country. Bachi. Yeah. And I'll just say Mum's Kimek because she's just Kungarakan and she's just next border. Hey, Mother, I got to honor my mum. So Bachi means good, fine, beautiful. And if you hear somebody, or if you say, Bachi ngai, Bachi means it's back to front from English, you know. It's like, it's good, it's fine, it's beautiful, and the ngai is the question. In other words, I'm asking, are you good? And you just say the mirror image, you go, ngai, Bachi. How cool is that? So that's Bachi. We should say Gwalwa Daraniki, because that's Gwalwa is the ground, Daraniki belong to us. And the other thing is Mamak. You can say Mamak. Mamak is not really a goodbye, but it's a goodbye, but it's like see you later. Okay? So, I don't know. I think that might do for now. I'm so happy it's all happening. And yeah, that's my welcome to country. On behalf of Larrakia people, Larrakia country, Ma. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you to Auntie June Mills for that beautiful, powerful speech. Yeah, so thank you for being here. Thank you for being a deadly auntie. Move the car. Yeah.
I'm going to, but I did want to mention one thing, which I've been dreaming about it for all the time, but I Googled the Babayan girls. Yeah, I Googled them, because I really wanted to know who these powerful ladies were that was walking amongst us. And I found out that they're the ones that started all the changes back in, like, I don't know, the 50s, you can correct me, 50s, 60s. So they've been doing it for decades. And I know what drives them, that need to see better things happening in their community. So I really want to honour yous really deeply. And I've also forgot to mention that people of first impact, the first invasion day, on down there, East Coast, and we feel it keenly. And I'm very honoured to have them on our country. Our concern over the decades, centuries, 233 years of illegal occupation of our lands. First impact. So, Google Barbarian elders, they kick ass mob.
Thank you again, Auntie. Yeah, deadly. Hopefully you get a fine. So now I'd like to introduce to the stage Letitia Russell and Pin. So please, if you'd like to come forward to this deadly stage.
Thank you, and welcome to everyone that has come to our deadly community of Palmerston. Yes! We were very honoured when we were approached to be the hosts, as we are a group of very passionate people about our community and making a change. But before I begin my formal speech, I'd like to acknowledge the country we are gathering on today of the Larrakia people, and I pay my respects to elders, both past and present, and future emerging leaders. I'd also like to acknowledge all the First Nations people that are gathered here, and I pay my respect to your country as well, and welcome to our Larrakia country. Thank you. I'm very nervous, as you can tell, but I have got the dead people, a bunch of people behind me that I know have got our back and got Palmerston's back. Welcome to our community of Palmerston, a melting pot of diverse cultures and people and deadly leaders working together to make a change to better the lives of our First Nations children and families. The Palmerston Indigenous Network, PIN, is a committed group of service providers, both government and non-government, working in the best interests of our children and families and individuals living in Palmerston. The network was established in 2016 and came from identifying there were so many service providers, our families were overwhelmed working in the Palmerston region, but there was no getting together to network and to share information. The network first was purely to share information and build relationships, as we knew that through a strong local network we could strengthen our community and make change. It did not take long for the consensus amongst us passionate people here, amongst the group, that we needed to work more collaboratively to make changes at a community level, and we could no longer work in silos if we wanted to see the change and break the cycles. PIN and its members are leading innovative projects in this community. We are collecting community voice, realising we are all working towards the same outcomes and have a vested interest in sharing our data to improve those outcomes. We are working towards a trauma-informed Palmerston with all levels of community receiving training. Come to the breakout session this afternoon at 1:30 at Regis to hear more. And our youth. I think that's where it kick-started and led the way for what we are capable of if we get together and to make changes. We've got school holiday programs. We're empowering our youth with the tools to navigate this complex world today. And we're breaking down these walls of negative imaging for our youth, which is probably common where youth mob come from as well. And I could go on and on about the deadly things we do, but I was told I was only to give you a snapshot. So PIN has grown to be more than an info sharing network. Our meetings are more like yarning circles. Yet we have a formal agenda structure, but we don't allow our restrictive white man's ways to how our meetings go. If there's an issue that comes up, we're going to talk about it, we're going to address it. But in these yarning circles, we hold our community and their voice at the forefront. And together with them, we tackle the complex social issues that are happening in our community. So from us to you, we welcome you to our deadly community and look forward to hearing your stories and you hearing ours and inspiring each other to ignite change. Thank you.
Hi, a few minutes ago I was given this. It's the message stick and it was handed to our elders and our Darwin people in Mount Druitt, and now will be forwarded on to the hosts and elders in Georgetown and Tasmania.
Awesome. Would like to say thank you to Letitia and the PIN crew. Deadly Mob. Awesome work. So now I believe we are going to be watching a video, so please hold tight. Watch the video. Be deadly.
Hello everyone. It's great to have ChangeFest back in 2021. ChangeFest is a great opportunity to come together, to collaborate and to promote change in our communities. Throughout this difficult time, Australian communities have shown great resilience. We've demonstrated our ability to work together and to respond positively to the need for change. Community-driven social change is the best way to do it, because we know that local solutions led by local leaders are central to breaking down barriers to employment and making a real difference on the ground. Community-led, place-based change is a relatively new way of approaching change, with goals focused on far-reaching consequences and sustained positive changes for those in our community. We are seeing this with the Stronger Places, Stronger People initiative, where we've invested $35 million over 5 years for the place-based program. Its driving ambition is to secure better outcomes for children and their families and disrupt disadvantage in the participating communities. This is not about service delivery, but working to reposition existing investment into activities that will help make change and improve lives. Logan in Queensland was an early adopter of this collaborative approach through the community-led Logan Together movement. In Logan, more families are now accessing early intervention services, including maternal child health services, and are ensuring their children are participating in literacy programs and in kindergarten. There has also been a reduction in the number of women smoking in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy. The work of Maranuka in Bourke, New South Wales has also shown early success using a community-led approach, with First Nations leadership being at the heart of this program. Today is a wonderful opportunity to reflect on our successes and a reminder that the government is here to work in partnership with communities across Australia to improve opportunities and achieve positive outcomes for Australian families. ChangeFest21 has a packed agenda, and I look forward to hearing your ideas on how we can further advance collective impact in our disadvantaged communities and progress community-led place-based change. Thanks so much.
My name is Brandon Desitranyamantor, and I'm from the Mohawk territory of Ganawage, a First Nations community on the South Shore of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Concordia University with great distinction, and I'm currently pursuing a Bachelor of Civil Law and a Juris Doctor from McGill University Faculty of Law in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. As one of the only members of my community actively pursuing a law degree, I aspire to make changes at the local, provincial, and national level in order to champion Indigenous rights and needs. Post-secondary education has played a pivotal role in the success of my community and our progress thus far, and I hope to use my knowledge to further our interests and lead positive community change. Community-led change is something that I see as a grassroots movement that flows from bottom up as opposed to top down. As Ganyaga people, one of our strengths is advocating for systemic change, and it almost always starts at the local level. In my community, community-led change involves the youth, and rightfully so. In my Indigenous culture, we have a concept known as 7 generations. That is, every decision we make as a community should contemplate and keep in mind what is best for the next 7 generations ahead of us. As such, the youth are always in mind and are driving force of that change. One of the most inspiring things that I see about community-led change is that it is contagious. What I mean by this is that everyone buys into it and sees the positive impact that it has for the community as a whole. As mentioned, youth are a driving force of this change. I am inspired by the grassroots activism that I see in my community and many other communities around me, and it shows no sign of slowing down anytime soon. Youth are increasingly becoming involved in community-led change, and this speaks to our commitment to lead change and our vision for a better community for the next 7 generations ahead. I would say that one of the most significant things getting in the way of community-led change is doubt and fear. Community-led change requires optimism, a willingness to take on new challenges, a hunger for change, and the determination to ensure that it will happen. As Indigenous peoples, we are known for our resilience, our drive, our knowledge, and our ability to come together as a community. We are also victims of assimilation and genocide. Despite this, our ongoing presence and voice is a testament to our strength and our efforts to lead change for our communities. While we are all individuals with our own agency, it is important to recognize that we all have a higher power over us. This is one of the fundamental teachings of my culture, as it is in many. This higher power need not be spiritual. Of course, as Indigenous peoples, we have to accept that through colonization, it is often colonial governments that have power over us, despite the fact that we are sovereign peoples. As an advocate for systemic change in my community and country, I will continue to be a voice that seeks to advance the interests of Indigenous peoples in Canadian society until we are seen as equal and treated as such. I would encourage all youth to do the same for whatever you believe in. We are the future, and it is time to start making the difference that you want to see in your community, state or province, and country. I would encourage all of you listening to not let this conversation end here. While I am saddened that I couldn't be with you all here today, I hope that my voice resonates with many of you and encourages you to be the driving force in leading community change. From the Mohawk Territory of Kahnawake in Canada, thank you and have a wonderful event.
The house here in Mexico City is a house who is focused for migrant people and who is coming from Latin America. We are the first house here in Mexico City. It's crazy, because Mexico City is a big country. It's really important for all the migrants who come from Latin America, South America. They cross for Mexico, no? So Mexico is a really important place for migrants. We try the house to be a home, because I don't like to say in Spanish we are a shelter, because sometimes the rules there are really not nice for the people who is living there. So I like to say Casa La Banda is a home, We work with gay, bi, transsexual person. The truth, for example, in Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, to be part of the trans community, of the LGBTQ plus community is hard. Casa La Banda tried to help that community, because the community is big and huge, and we are so diversity, and the house is open for everybody who is part of the community in general. Casa La Banda cover the basic needs, food, bed, you can to be here, but also we have to fight to change the politicals here. I would like to be a freelance for everybody. Maybe that's impossible, but I would like to see that, they can travel to around the world. Maybe an ideal world without walls.
I was very fortunate to actually be part of ChangeFest in 2019, and that was a very inspirational experience that I had.
I feel I should flag this, that the so-called people who are more well-to-do in our country, in India, the year-long pandemic has had a massive change in their way of thinking and their feeling towards the underprivileged and the oppressed and the poor. And there's a huge there's an upsurge in people at large in civil society just coming out and helping people who are in distress now. And we've been able to, for example, as a small gesture, right last year in April, May, as well as now, again a year later, been able to leverage a whole lot of people, known and unknown to us, to come on a WhatsApp platform and directly help women in distress, and even the so-called the tragic COVID widows, as they're called now, directly with financial help. I feel that this upsurge in civil society that's happening in India, it's already lasted for more than a year, and is going to get set in stone, perhaps, that there'll be a whole lot of millions of people, taxpayers in the country, who'd want to have a one-on-one with loads of people who are not as well off, even in the future, post the period of pandemic. Yeah.
And also, what's very inspiring about this community-led change, even in this moment of emergency, it is the community members themselves, the leaders that have emerged over the years that we have been working with them. They are the ones who are playing a lead role, in coming up front and helping their other community members. So, which is very inspiring to see that, something that we had started a couple of decades ago, that those leaders are there, they're there to stay. And the fact that they feel that they are giving back in turn, and it's not just that it's from the outside world, it is from within themselves also. And that's a very satisfying feeling. The fact that they say that we are doing it and we did it ourselves.
Once communities are helped to get together, and once you organize your communities, however small their size may be, you actually build upon a solid foundation which leads to sustainable change. So go right ahead and, just work towards building more and more of community-based organizations.
So I do want to wish ChangeFest 2021 good luck and all strength going forward.
Such deadly inspirational people all over the world. But now I would like to welcome to the stage the co-directors Romana and Pippa. So if you guys would like to come up. Deadly, deadly, deadly. Yeah.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to have you all here. Hey, Mana?
Yes.
We just wanted to say a few words as the co-directors of ChangeFestNT21. It's been quite a journey. What's it been like working in Darwin for the last, under COVID and since?
I think crazy would probably be the understatement, because everybody's coming to Darwin at the moment because of COVID. So every event person and artist is at, they're exhausted right now. Yeah, we don't have enough people to look after everyone that's coming here.
Yeah, so something like 10,000 extra people in Darwin. It's like more than that. So it's been really interesting trying to put on an event here. Since ChangeFest19, and actually it's almost exactly 2 years since I took the crazy job of going, ChangeFest, that sounds great, I'll do that. But when I took the job, I said, actually, I'm white fella, born in London, middle-aged, middle class, really? Is this really the job? And then it was like, okay, for Mount Druitt, we raced to it. I worked with the Baba and Aunties. Thank you so much for your generosity. And then said, okay, for the next one, we have to work with someone else as well. So it's been cool. Hey, when did you start?
When did you start? I came on board November last year.
Yeah. So the other thing that I need to acknowledge is the national conveners have changed. They are noticed at the back, but it's important that I name check them. Collaboration for Impact, who were kind of at the beginning of this big ride, have been all the way along. And they do a great job also of hosting our roles and, doing some of the money stuff. But the other conveners that started with ChangeFest, so that was Logan Together and Griffith University and Opportunity Child, they all stepped away after ChangeFest 19. No drama, plenty of people from Logan here, just time to move on. Yay for Logan. And so then we had some fabulous opportunity to bring on some new people. So we have the National Centre for Indigenous Excellence, and Darren and Isabel are here. Darren and Isabel are right here. Big up to them, thank you. Health Justice Australia, and they're also here. They're beautiful. And unfortunately, the people who are not here, and you can probably guess why, the Institute of Human Security and Social Change at La Trobe University in Melbourne, and they're very sorry they can't be here, but I think they might be online. So can we give a big up to Melbourne? All the Victorians. Beautiful. All right, well, we have just about caught up, I think, Edwin, just about caught up. There's 3 more things that I would like to say. We've got a lot of choice this afternoon, and the challenge of this Change Fest, hey, Mana, the challenge has been that this is the place where we can have a plenary, and it's pretty hot, right? So we've got spaces we can go to breakouts, but they're all over Palmerston. So we've got buses coming. But the next thing, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but this afternoon, we've got 2 bus trips and we need people to put their names down if they want to go because there's limited numbers. So that's the trip to Dondale, it's a drive-by to Dondale, and there's some people talking about youth justice. And then there's a trip to Grey School, fabulous Grey School here in Palmerston. So if you'd like to come to the back and put your name down if you'd like to go on one of those trips. And then the third piece, and this is also a really important piece, is there's a language party. And there it's a series of sessions across the 2 days. And that's for people for whom English is not their first language. So if you'd like to go and celebrate the language that you speak, because us colonisers have kind of taken over everything, then it would be awesome to go and join Euron and Professor Stephen Bird. They have this awesome language party. So, you got anything else, Man?
No, I just want everyone to have a good time now and enjoy the next couple of days in Palmerston.
Big up to that. Thanks, Edward.
Deadly, deadly, deadly. So, I would like to just personally thank all of our speakers for speaking today. Hello to our live audience, live audience and online audience. But now we are going to be breaking our fast. So there's morning tea over this side. So if you might want to go get some food over there, just a quick retrack. Bins are all over the place. The toilets are at the back. Toilets over there. So yeah, water and sunscreen. So thank you, Mum. Hello. Sorry, back to me again. So we're going to have a 10-minute break. I forgot that whole thing. Look, far out. 10-minute break and we'll be back soon. So yeah, please enjoy.
Rugby.
Hello. Oh.
On a beanie trail full of stories. I met a strange dollar, she made me nervous. She took me in and gave me money. And she said, we come from a land down under, where dollars smile and meaning plunder. Can you hear that thunder? You better run, you better take cover. Buying back from a man in Darwin. He was 6'4", Nagi Mukin. I said, you speaking my language. But Wingo, he smiled and gave me a Benjamin money. You come from a land down under, where dollars smile and meaning plunder. Can you hear that thunder? You better run, you better take cover. From a land of plenty. We come from a land down under, where dollars smile and meaning plunder. Can you hear that thunder? You better run, you better take cover. I got the big and moody dog, go, 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 go. I got the big and moody red, go, 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 go. I got the big and moody dog.
So I must sin till pride, emancipate mental slavery. And they said we were failing time. Showed them up, we stood the test of time. Time, I blame it on time, but regain it on time. So I claim it on time. Put soul in this image. This is music for the free spirit. Inspiration for those who really need it. Not those who listen, but those who really feel it.
Songs of our time, teachers of our story.
Let it be written in the mazes. Survival of a culture is the reason that we made it. Yeah.
Spirit ties, keepers of our story.
And the show will go on. Worship blood unks. We came to tell the world. Come on.
We have survived, written in our time, carrying our pride, raise the flag high. We have survived, keepers of our time, carrying our pride, singing out freedom.
certificate of respect, but the piece becomes relevant. But that concept alone is irrelevant to ambition, such tests are heaven sent. That's why we grab mics and go ridiculous and scream represent till the whole world be feeling it. Yeah.
Songs of our time, teachers of our story.
Let it be written in the maze. The survival of a culture is the reason that we made it. Yeah.
Spirit ties, keepers of our story.
And the show will go on. Worship blood unks, we came to tell the world. Come on.
We have survived, written in our time, carrying our pride, raise your flag high. We have survived, keepers of our time, carrying our pride, singing out songs of our time, teachers of our story. Spirit ties, keepers of our story. We have survived, written in our time, carrying our pride, raise your flag high. We have survived, keepers of our time, carrying our pride, singing out
Hello, 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 hello. Everybody in the back, can everybody hear me? Hello. Excuse me, people in morning tea. I don't even know if they can hear me, poor Konya. Morning tea mob. So we'll be starting in about 2 to 1 minute, I think. So if you guys want to finish up eating, filling your faces, we'd like you to come back and hear the rest of what we have to say and give to you, mob. So yeah, thank you, mob.
Down by the Nuren where the river runs dry is a story that'll bring our teardrop to your eye where long Mac used to call the wallow up and make rain there. Song's secret as a colourful sky. He could sing and make the black heavens cry. When Galiaro thought to nourish that land, he held thunder in the palm of his hand. The red dust from the iron ore train will make a white cocky all stained and rusty. And rich boys and the royal family, they needed water
a brand new troopy on a beanie trailer full of stories.
Okay, so for the rest of the people that aren't seated, could you please maybe come back to the seats and sit your beautiful selves down? Yeah, oh, I did already. You must have missed it. See, come on time. I'm joking. You're always on time, just not today. Yeah. Good ways. I don't know if the rest of the mob can hear me. They're all sorted. Okie dokie. Hello? 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 I don't know if they heard me then. Well, for the mob that's coming, they can race over. For now, I would like to welcome to the stage a deadly brother and sister. I'll get from the collaboration for Impact, I'll have Liz Skelton to come up, Mark, Yettica, Paulson too. So yeah, please welcome them.
Red power button. Two. Aha. This microphone is on. Gotcha. So, good morning, ChangeFest. Is this the online? Excuse me for a moment. Good morning, everyone there. It's great to have you join us. There's people here, but we wish you were here with us. Particularly those of you who Victoria, Melbourne based, we send our love and regards to you. Wish you were up here with us. It's a little bit warmer than Melbourne, but we hope you can feel the warmth of our spirit to you, reaching out to you online as well. I know that the online stuff is not as good as this, but you're with us in spirit. Thank you. I want to acknowledge the Larrakia mob. I want to acknowledge all the First Nations elders who are present here and all the peoples. I was born here, as was my brother Grant, born here in Darwin when our parents were working with the Gurindji and the Walpri. So we were up here for a time. And for all you Darwinites, we left two or 3 weeks before Tracy. And all the Darwin mob go, ah, yes. And everyone else goes, Tracy who? Tracy which way? Okay, so our families are from Southeast Queensland, North New South Wales, and where we come from, when you see countrymen, you kind of look like this, who are they? You're trying to figure out, who are them mob? Am I related to them mob? Like you? And we somehow find that way to shift and crink that neck, you know? And if they wave to us and we don't know them, we go like this. We wave real low. You mob in the back didn't even see it, eh? Because we wave real low like this, like, yeah, bruh, I see you. Yes, yes. Well, I don't know you. But if we know them, we go, hey, 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 hey. So when I say, hey, you ChangeFest mob, don't go, hey, are you talking to me? I don't know. I want you to go, hey, but don't knock each other out, right? So be careful, but when I say, hey, you ChangeFest mob, I want you to go, hey, like this, ready? Hey, you ChangeFest mob. Hey! Oh, lovely, lovely. So Liz and I are a comedy act.
Apparently.
Liz and I work together on collaborations, particularly deep collaboration with First Nations and others work together. We're going to be popping up today, tomorrow, the next day to talk about what happens when people start to do this work of collaborating. What are the dynamics and things that turn up, the behaviours, the attitudes, the fears, the frustrations. So we're going to solve all the problems. Easy. Yeah, that's right. But we want to give people a sense of who's in the room here with us. So I'm going to hand over to Liz, who's going to walk through, okay, so who is actually here with us? But when she calls out, you know, who's the mob from somewhere, don't go, yeah. Go, hey, that's us over here, all right? Over to you, Liz.
Thanks, Mark. So this isn't the comedy duo. You always need the straight one with the funny one. So I'm doing the straight one today. I also want to just acknowledge the land that we're on and pay respect to the Larrakia people. And thank you for that beautiful welcome that we had earlier. It's a real privilege to be hosted by you all, and really look forward to us learning, working together and leaning in and collaborating over the next few days. So we want to just, yeah, give us one of those. So just to land us all here, we want to see who's here. So we might start with the Victorians, and there may be some in the room. So anyone from Victoria on the screen, give them all a big shout. Anyone make it up? No, but they're on there. Give them a wave.
So everyone want to wave to the Victorian mob. Say, hey, you mob.
Yay.
And the Tasmanians.
And the Tasmanians. Yeah. Any Tasmanians with us here? Yeah. Okay. And let's see the people who are hosting us, Larrakia. Who's here from the land? Woo! New South Wales. Yeah. Queensland. Yay. Whoa, over there. Go Logan. South Australia. Yay. Wee bit more noise. Hey. Hey. And WA, Western Australia. Way. Well done. Great.
What about the rest of NT? Anyone from the rest of NT?
Rest of NT. Yeah, welcome. Okay, now we want to get a bit more of a feel of, all of us are here because we're collaborating in some way, and we've all got different roles in that collaboration. So if you hear from your community, give us a wave. Yep, a few? Yep.
Over here.
Great. Yeah. Tiwi. Oh, Tiwi, yes. Yeah. Anyone else we've missed? No? Great. Okay. Anyone here working on the ground with a service, not-for-profit sector? On the ground. Let's hear you.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay. Government. Anyone here from government? Yeah?
Hey.
Hey.
I see you, government mob. You government mob going to go, oh, yeah.
I think there's a few more of you than that.
Yeah. She's going, hey, I'm from government.
Philanthropy. Anyone, any funders here?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few in the room. Great. From unis, academia? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, got a few. Any capacity builders, consultants? Yeah, a few. Any other? Who we've gotten? Preschools.
Preschools.
Yeah, okay.
Anyone who put out their hand more than twice? Hey. I seen you in the back there,
Right.
putting your hand up. Community, government, yeah.
So, well, wherever you're from, in coming here and collaborating, we're all looking at how do we make change together from where you are, from who you are, from the resources you've got. So we're really inviting you over these few days to lean into that. If there's someone you want to have a conversation with or something you hear that you're not sure about, ask the question, lean in, get what it is that you need from this, because we're all looking at how do we make change, and we need to hear different perspectives to do that. So jump in, lean in.
And look. I broke both. This one? Okay, just calm down, Mark. Just slow down a bit. Right, what I wanted to say is that already this morning we've heard people talk about passionate people, committed people, and powerful people. Now, at any point in time, if you thought they were talking about someone else, you're mistaken. They're talking about you. You've come here, you've made the trek here for a reason. So I want you to really embrace that as you lean in, like Liz said. But the powerful, passionate, committed people are you. So we've got a couple of days together to have conversations we don't ordinarily have. So let's get in and have them. It's going to be great working with you, and it's not really hot. That cool breeze is keeping us nice and lovely and cool. All right. All the best. We'll see you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz and Mark. So, up next, we, if I can find myself, far out. Oh, yeah, sorry, we have Uncle Gibson from the Tiwi Land Council. How can I forget him? Far out. Sorry. Give him another round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to acknowledge my fellow countrymen with the Larrakia mob. Tiwi people and the Larrakia mob got long relationship. They used to come in the old days in a canoe, dugout canoe, and they used to swap wives. Yeah, they used to swap wives. That's why we got family this side, we got family on that side. Now, I've seen a lot of familiar faces that I grew up with. And first thing, I'd like to respect our past leaders and present. And first time I came to this ChangeFest 2021. And the reason why 2020 we closed the grand final on the TV Island because of the COVID-19. And to keep our people safe, and especially the elderly and the old people and our young kids, because we got a lot of people on dialysis on the island. Usually influx tourists for annual grand final, thousands of visitors from down and all around Australia. And now art centers, they lost a lot of money, because a lot of those people came over. And we have to be strong with the NT government and Northern Land Council and the police, chief health officers, clinic staff, and the Northern Territory government. And we had to notify Canberra because there was a big cruiser airline, cruiser ship came to TV without, as a chairman, I wasn't notified. So we had to put that on hold. I rang the NT government and the police and Canberra. And the border post, they had to remove the cruiser ship to keep our people safe. So we made sure no one got off that ship, the whole state. And another note too as well, like we're all getting old, I'm getting old as well. We need to think about our next generation. You know, I've seen a lot of TV in the around Darwin, Palmerston, Cromer, even the TV Island. There's a lot of our kids are getting into a lot of trouble. And as leaders, we need to keep our kids safe. They need get that education. You know, education is the key because our kids are getting locked up in Dondale. And it's not good for us to see our kids getting locked up. Because I see a lot of TV kids, Casuarina, Cromer. I even see kids are roaming around the street at night. We need to be really strong. We need to talk to the parents and the family. Because in our TV Island, we got a lot of problem as well, right across the Northern Territory. And yesterday I was at Wollongong. A lot of our people are getting vaccinated. They're getting a coronavirus needle now, right now. And I told everyone, don't be scared to get that needle. It's for your own safety, you know, for your own safety. Okay, then, that's all I have to say because I've got another meeting this afternoon. So I have to rush because downtime don't stay still. Downtime rushes. So thank you very much. Thank you, my boy.
Thank you, Uncle Gibson. So now I would like to welcome to the stage Sabrina Davies from South Australia, Women of the Year for Bushfire Response. Ah, deadly one.
You told me to say it. Okay, countrymen at Palmerston, down and surrounding area. Man, I'm packing my manta, mean goodbye, my friends. But I still live in Darwin. Okay, thank you.
Mama.
Good morning, everyone. Feeling really special and honoured to be here and following all of this, what we've heard and seen this morning, and I'm very, very nervous as well. So I'm from South Australia. I'm actually from Kangaroo Island, but originally you might hear an accent. I'm actually from Germany, and I came here about 13 years ago. So feeling really, really blessed to be speaking here on your country, and coming from somewhere completely different culture, different background, and sort of embracing this culture over here. I suppose why I'm here today is because last year, you've probably all possibly heard about it, we on Kangaroo Island were very, very fire affected. Black summer fires went over the island for 45 days, and I was one of the families that lost her livelihood and her house, and we had to relocate, which I did with my children for about a year, and moved into still on the island, but moved into a different community, 100 kilometres from my home, from my farm, and had to, I still getting emotional talking about it now, had to leave my husband behind, who ended up cleaning up and trying to start the rebuild of the farm. Coming from a country where most of the time we only call a fire engine when there's a cat on a tree, I had never really experienced a fire as such, not even a house fire before. Definitely not a grass fire or a bushfire, even though it is part of every Australian summer, and my husband is one of the farm firefighters that goes out every summer to help in the community, help neighbours, friends, help on our own land. It was something very scary and something very new to me, and something that brought me great learning. I've learned that in our community there's not enough communication between the different groups of people that are living there, people that have a conservationist background, farmers, the government, and it's something that we would like to change, something we would like to, we would bring everyone closer together to have this conversation. So whilst I was living 100 kilometres away and having lost all of my material possessions, and really just feeling mostly, not the loss of those things, but mostly losing my identity. So I felt like, I lost my home, I lost my comfort space, I lost where I could, be when I feel sad, or where I feel bad, where I feel grounded, where I re-energized, and that was really tough. All of our neighbours, there was 86 families who had lost their homes. Everyone had to move away, still on the island, but move around the place, and we were all located around the island, and lost our tribe really, and it had a really big impact on me. I felt very, very lost. I felt very sad. I call it my zombie state. Probably was in that for about 2 or 3 months, and then decided that when COVID came in and we were suddenly told we can't socially gather anymore, we can't meet up for sport, we can't go to school assemblies, we can't be together and mourn our losses and be together as a community, it really struck me how much I needed that, how much I needed it for my own healing process and for my personal mental recovery. So I started a project on the island called Humans of Kangaroo Island, where because I was allowed to still one-on-one, caught up with members of the community, my new neighbours, the people that I now lived close to that I had sort of, seen in the supermarket and waved to, but didn't really know much about. I felt like I know them, but I didn't really know them. I didn't know anything about their story or about their lives and their background, their culture, their identity. And I wanted to change that. And at the beginning, it was, for me, very, very just personal reasons. I needed to talk, and I wanted to talk about something else than bushfires, something else than my own personal losses. I wanted to hear about how other people had gone through tough times and happy times in their lives, and how they have moved on, how they went through those challenges and what or who helped them. And when we first, lost everything on the island, or on the western end of the island, all the government agencies and community groups were coming in, and they were telling us, this is the way recovery is structured, this is how you do it, this is, number 1, 2, 3, these are the processes you go through. And obviously I find out, as you can probably imagine, that it's different for everyone. We all have different losses, we all have different backgrounds, we all have a different mental state at that stage when we're losing our land and our homes. And so it was very personal, the recovery, and it was very individualised, and so I wanted to make sure we actually talk about that. So I started to do one-on-one interviews with the community, just going to people's places. We're still allowed to do that through COVID, having a cuppa and just talking about anything they want to talk about, and then shared that together with a photo on social media. It started off first. Also to bring up some good news on social media, because there was a lot of rubbish through COVID coming up that I didn't enjoy, and I wanted something that's food for thought, inspiring, uplifting, and to reconnect our community whilst we are all spread out all along the island. Very quickly I realised how much our community needed this, how much we needed to get to know our neighbours, how much we needed to find out how everyone was going whilst we were all in our little bubble of recovery, rebuild, everyone on their own farms, on their own land and their own homes. I realised what an impact it was having, and so I decided that I wanted to give something back. People had given us a lot, not just food and clothing, but also a lot of love from all around the world. Every community around Australia and my own home country, everyone has supported us, and I felt like my give and take balance was a bit out of whack. So I decided I wanted to do a fundraiser to support the local farm firefighters who go out every summer, leave their own farms behind, and just help. And they don't expect anything in return. They put their lives at risk and on hold for the summer, just to do this for their community. And I realised after a conversation with my husband that no one actually equips them. No one actually replaces their equipment when they lose it, and no one actually educates them or talks to them or checks on their mental health after they've attended a fire or an experience like this. So I checked with a few government organisations, some groups, and I pretty much hit a wall. I realised there was no one there who was willing to help. And instead of waiting and putting applications in, I just decided to do it myself, pretty much with door knocking and talking to the media. And in the end raised over $60,000 for our local farm firefighters. I managed to, thank you. To be honest, when I went out to do this, I had a target at about 15,000. So I was hoping to equip about 100 farm firefighters on the island because I had no idea how many there were. And once I made it public and told our local newspaper this is what I was going to do, I secretly shat myself because I was worried that what if I wasn't going to hit that target? What if I can't supply them with firefighting gear coming into the new summer season and people were now relying on my promise? So that's why I went out really hard, rang up everyone I knew and applied for anything I could and talked to everyone that I saw, and in the end had a lot of support, very grateful for that, and raised over 60,000 and managed to equip over 250 farm firefighters. I brought back communication, which is UHF radios. I purchased quick fill pumps, which help all around the island now, that are strategically placed in case of a fire for, decades to come, fires to come. And I just wanted to help our community to be prepared because there will be more fires. And I didn't want to rely on any agencies because I had learned that they see things differently. We just as a community have to get together and get what we need, what we feel is important to us. And so I set out to do it, and I, surprisingly reached more than expected, and I'm still doing it. There's still more money in the tin, and I'm still passing out chainsaws and UHF radios. I'm now doing a book version, raising more funds for a fire-affected sports club, trying to build a playground. And I realised how many people want to help and how many people want to be part of it and how many people just want to sit together and talk just over cuppa. And how many people have so many great ideas. And it's something that I've become really passionate about and never would have thought I would get into before the fires. But I suppose it's my great learning is that I have found a beautiful community over here on Kangaroo Island, coming from a very far away land. And I'm very, very grateful for that, how I have been welcomed into the community and been accepted, and how much we can actually achieve together. So I'm here to share that with you, that change is obviously possible in every small community, like something as small as Kangaroo Island with 4,500 residents. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Sabrina. So now I would like to welcome the Lord Mayor of Palmerston to come to the stage, and that's the beautiful Athina Pascoe. Yeah.
Thank you. Probably need a bit more room up here. Normally I'm worried about the lectern being too tall. First, I'd like to acknowledge the Larrakia, whose country we meet on, and pay my respects to the elders past and present. And while I've got everyone's attention, I also want to send out a special thank you to the Larrakia, who have welcomed me and the City of Palmerston into your community as well. I've been asked to speak about a few different things. First is COVID-19 and the impact that that's had on our community and the things that Council did. Some of the suggestions that I managed to send through to the federal government through our local ministers and also our federal representatives. And then introduce you to our community plan, which was a truly innovative piece of work we undertook here in the City of Palmerston. So first on to COVID-19, and I think just like everyone else, except perhaps with the exception of Victoria, who seemed to have been hit the hardest, we were all hit at the same time with massive shutdowns, closing down of community facilities. Our youth services had to be put on hold because the rec centre had to be closed, the library had to be closed, the swimming pool had to be closed, and the council still had to continue. I had to have a very difficult conversation with our CEO, who was warning me that we might need to let go of some of our staff. And to me, that was not going to be acceptable, because if you keep people employed, they'll keep spending money and the economy will keep turning over. And I had been a public servant for a very long time before I was mayor, so I knew how much work never got touched by the public service that was necessary. So I managed to convince him that we would keep our staff employed, and we redeployed some of our staff to other areas. And probably the most notable redeployment was our library staff, who I know like to dress up, but they put on safety boots, high-vis vests, and went out with iPads and started counting and photographing trees to add to our asset management system. Now you think, but it kept them employed. They're the happiest people in the world because they really like to dress up, so this was a real opportunity for them. As soon as we were allowed to open up some of our facilities under restricted conditions, we realised that we needed to bring our community back together. So we introduced a lot of free things. We're also now, it's been a while since we did that, but we're now thinking that maybe we should make the big book of free things in Palmerston rather than the big book of what you have to pay for. So we had free community room hire at the library, the rec centre, all of our community rooms. We have free access to our swimming pool. And I'll tell you how we got there in a minute, but we've now seen a 200% increase on the recreation centre bookings. That's the recreation centre just there. Driver Resource Centre has increased by 85%, and our Durack Community Hall and Arts Centre, 300%. The free community room hire enabled many different groups to approach council and say that they required some space for them to meet and gather with people who they possibly lost connection with, or they were looking to make new connections. So we've seen family groups, so mums and bubs, come in and use the free facilities. We've seen bubs dancing groups, art and craft, different seniors groups. A lot of people who would not have had access to our facilities because previously we had required them to pay, even though it was only a small fee, something like $30 for an hour or $60 for half a day. It was out of reach for many people. We had to move Storytime online. We have Storytime in the library every week. It's attended by around 20, 30 families. But with the library closed, that group of people who would meet weekly were unable to do so. So we decided to record Storytime and publish it through Facebook. And that allowed families to tune in online and still feel like they were connected to the community. We introduced library vending machines. I never knew they existed. We applied for some community grants from the Commonwealth and were successful, and the Northern Territory Government. And we installed 2 vending machines, one at the local IGA in Zocoli and one at the Palmerston swimming pool, which has got free access. This enabled people who are able to visit those facilities to borrow a book from our library system using the same library card and also return it to the same vending machine. We increased things like online payment services, and we also had free parking continuing in the city centre. Through this, as the mayor, I have other responsibilities, thinking upwards and outwards as well. So when COVID hit, I had a unique opportunity of being able to put my ideas on policies up through the Northern Territory Government and also to the federal government. I had a meeting coming up with our local government minister the following couple of days, a very short time frame. But I had to really rapidly think about what could we ask government for and what could we then ask the Commonwealth government for. So I had to think of these policies very quickly. I raised them with the minister when I met him by phone. And within 48 hours, I had drafted 6 policies. It's a lot of hard work if you've ever tried to do it in a very tight time frame, to ask for what we needed. We wanted to keep our businesses operating through COVID so that we could keep our residents employed. So we needed to reduce the fixed costs of business, which for us was rates concessions to our businesses. That was one of the policies. We were able to secure grant money from the Northern Territory Government in order to subsidise rates for business owners. Fast-tracking our capital works might not sound like much, but every good council should have a long-term capital works program. And with extra funding, we're able to bring these projects forward, which means we can keep more local people employed. We're successful in getting those capital works programs funded through the Commonwealth. So we're now seeing more local road and community infrastructure money being spent across councils right across Australia. I mentioned our library programs, online story time and the vending machine, so we're able to fast track our library projects. I also had an idea that if people were unemployed, stood down on JobKeeper, JobSeeker, they had an opportunity as well to re-educate themselves and upskill. So my suggestion was that we have our educational institutions provide free courses and training to those people who were on JobKeeper and JobSeeker if that was what they wanted to do. Our last one was we desperately needed some support in our supply chains. We couldn't get hand sanitizer or toilet paper either. I'll probably speak to you now about our community plan. The City of Palmerston has been through quite a bit of turmoil. I joined the council in 2015 and I sat on that council for 18 months. And I joined the council during a by-election. And the reason I joined was because I was bitterly disappointed with the way the council treated the community. There was a very distinct lack of respect, and there was just no communication. After 18 months of sitting on the council and observing all of their behaviour and some of the conduct, I found myself in a position of having to write to the Minister for Local Government and saying that I think the council needed to be put into administration, which was done. I had enough reason for doing that, and the Minister agreed. The council was suspended. About 12 months later, we went to re-election. The council was allowed to sit after an investigation. So I decided that I would run for mayor because I wanted to see this change happen in our community and for our community. I was very fortunate that out of the last council, I was the only elected representative to make it through to the new council. So we had a completely new council, we had a range of ages, and we had 4 women and 4 men on our council, which is quite unusual to actually have equal representation of the sexes. We still don't have diversity, but at least we have equal representation of men and women. We needed to bring our community back on board with the work that council needed to do. So probably the biggest challenge for us was gaining the trust of our community so that we could start delivering back to our community. We decided that we needed a new strategic plan, but I didn't like the idea of a top-down approach for a strategic plan, and we invited 50 members of our community to workshop without the presence of elected officials, without the presence of senior executives, in a process which is called deliberative democracy. So some of you would have heard of this. We call them the Palmerston People's Forum. So this group of people workshopped over 2 weekends. We had separate breakout sessions for Indigenous people in Palmerston, and we had a separate breakout session for Palmerston youth. And together they wrote our strategic plan and our community plan. The council had agreed right at the outset, before we'd even seen what they were going to deliver to us, that we would accept whatever it is they told us they wanted the council to deliver. What they came back with is our community plan. It's centred on 3 central elements. Palmerston is a welcoming, vibrant family city that fosters diversity and unity. In Palmerston, everyone belongs. In Palmerston, everyone is safe. We have 6 core outcomes: family and community. Palmerston is a safe and family-friendly community where everyone belongs. Vibrant economy. Palmerston is a destination city for employment. It is a place where businesses are encouraged to set up and grow. Cultural diversity. In Palmerston, we celebrate our cultures in a way that values our diversity. We are future-focused. Palmerston is an innovative city that sustains itself through the challenges of the future. Environmental sustainability. Palmerston is an environmentally friendly, livable city that promotes renewable practices and sustainability. And governance. Council is trusted by the community and invests in things that the public value. So this was our community plan. It also had some very specific targets set to us by the community. Reducing alcohol-fuelled violence in our community, introducing a youth centre, and improving Palmerston's image. Now, not all of these things are actually the responsibility of council. For example, reducing alcohol-fuelled violence is really a matter for alcohol policy of the Northern Territory Government and the Northern Territory Police and all those other areas. But we recognise that we are a partner in everything that happens in our community, so we work together with all these agencies. We were told we needed another youth centre. We had a facility running here at the Palmerston Recreation Centre, Youth Drop-In Sports. It ran every day after school, but there was a need for a second facility. The Northern Territory government approached the council and said, we want to put it at the old police station, which is only 200 metres, maybe 150 metres away from the other centre. The council said, no, we don't need another community centre in the centre of our city. We actually need it in the suburbs where the kids live. We don't want them travelling great distances to get to a place of safety, a place of comfort. We had a space that we previously had rented as a commercial lease at our swimming pool in Malden, which is the centre of our older suburbs and the centre of where our public housing is. We gave up that commercial tenancy, the income from that commercial tenancy, and allowed the Northern Territory government to implement the Palmerston Youth Centre at that facility. Now, it might surprise you to know that we've got about 39,000 people who live in Palmerston, but between those two facilities, the Palmerston Recreation Centre and the Palmerston Youth Centre, we cater for around 200 youth aged from about 10 to 18 every single day. They are fed, they are looked after, they have access to social services, they have access to adults who they can trust and adults who trust them. It's made a huge difference to our community. All around us we hear bad things happening to youth in Darwin, the northern suburbs, in Alice Springs. But our youth have really been encouraged to attend these facilities, and we look after them. Thank you. All right, I'm running out. Sorry, I do talk a lot, don't I? I'll probably just let you know that our community plan has won 3 awards, a Human Rights Award and Public Engagement and Community Planning Awards. And we do listen to our youth, so much so that when Malden Park School had told us that they wanted a new playground, we took it seriously. We went and workshopped with the kids at the school, got them to pick out elements for a playground, and council's now agreed that we will deliver a $700,000 playground in Malden as a result of the school approaching the council and us saying to them, we do listen to you, we see you, and we will help you get what you want to achieve. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Lord Mayor. Could I now please get Luke Gosling up? Before we wrap everything up, we'll get him to speak. Get him on the stage.
Thank you. G'day, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to thank Pippa and all the other organisers, particularly Catherine Phillips, who's been working on this for quite some time. Hello to Logan. I'm Luke Gosling. I'm the federal member for Darwin and Palmerston, so I go down to Canberra and represent this amazing place. I work with Jim Chalmers, the people from Logan, the people from Western Sydney work with Ed Husick. So I'm not a member of the federal government. I can't speak for them. But I'm happy to be here to just share a couple of observations about what we can celebrate out of COVID. I want to just recognise the Larrakia and any other elders that we've got here from First Nations people around the country. We heard Gibson talk about the Tiwi Islands, and one thing that if he had more time he could elaborate on is the importance of employment, of particularly young members of our community getting into employment and the big difference that that makes, whatever that employment is. But also from Kangaroo Island, it was awesome to hear about the community-based initiatives going on there, another island. And it's a beautiful place, Kangaroo Island, and I just want to do a big shout out to everyone, particularly in Victoria, who are going through these lockouts, and it's a difficult time. and our solidarity is absolutely with you. It's been a difficult time for many, COVID, but it's also been a time of awakening, I think. Another island, Timor-Leste, is having a particularly hard time at the moment. They're our near neighbours, just 500 kilometres away. It's a place where I've done some community development work and where I really learned from them the power of solidarity. But Australia is an island, and Australians have been coming together to help each other, and I'm proud that we've had a process by where people were supported to stay in their jobs, and I'm proud that Australians have led the way. It's an incredibly humbling thing to represent people from Darwin and Palmerston, hearing the good things that you've just heard about the Palmerston community and what they're doing, what the Palmerston leadership are doing, both First Nations leaders, people working with youth, but also in Darwin itself. There's a lot of great work happening with our youth, and we hear too much in the papers in particular and on some talkback radio about the negatives. There's not enough celebration of the good things, and I think Australians across the country have come together in their communities with the help of community leaders and reconnecting with each other in a way we haven't really done for quite some time. And I think sometimes it's crisis, and we know this in the Territory because we have cyclones that bring people together. And you know you can't really depend on government. Like, people can't really depend on the federal government at the moment. That's not a partisan comment, but the last week we were in federal parliament, we had a battle about superannuation, which helps people look after themselves in old age. Next week, down in Canberra again, it's going to be about protecting Medicare so that people have support from the government when they're sick. So as a community, we need to make sure that those who represent us, whether it be at a local level, an NT level, or a federal level, are doing their job, which is to provide the services that people require. And that's what a good country does. The community's role, whether it be in a little island, a big island like Australia, or the planet, because we are an island. Earth is an island floating in space. We've got to look after each other within this island, and that means looking after the planet. That means looking after the climate and taking action on climate change to make sure that it's sustainable for our kids and for their kids. Two quick reflections. I've just been to a childcare centre. I just want to thank every single person who works with kids. And I know that one of the positives of COVID has been that the kids were at home more when they got locked down in places down south, and the Victorians will relate to this. And hopefully there's a new appreciation now for the early childhood learners, the educators, because they're looking after our kids, they're bringing up our kids. Our primary school teachers, secondary school teachers, and university lecturers who were left behind. The university sector was left behind when it came to COVID, unfortunately. We've got to do better than that. Another quick reflection about our country and First Nations people and what community leaders, the difference that they can make. In 2004, I was down visiting my parents in Melbourne. G'day, Mum and Dad. And Mum comes into the lounge room and says, Michael Long, who's from here with us, he's Tiwi parentage, Tennant Creek parentage, but lives in Darwin. He's walking to Canberra to force John Howard to start talking about treating First Nations communities with respect and having a plan, you know, for lifting communities up. So I said to my little brother, mate, drive me up the Hume Highway. I want to walk with Mick Long. And what an experience, walking and talking up that. We got kicked off the main Hume Highway onto the old Hume Highway, walking through country Victoria, talking to people. Now, I've just returned from Perth because we couldn't have Dreamtime at the G, unfortunately. So they had the Dreamtime game and the long walk in Perth. And Western Australia turned up. Now, those from Western Australia will know that's not a place renowned for its harmony with First Nations people, safe to say, despite a lot of good work. But what I saw in Perth was really a movement of change that is being led by the community. Because there would have been 10,000 people that turned up at the Wacker to walk with Mick Long and the Premier Mark McGowan over to Optus Stadium for the Richmond versus Essendon game. Now, for those who barracked for Essendon, you fought well, but just couldn't get there in the end. We love Essendon because of Mickey Long and our ties to those people, but also we've got awesome Indigenous football players coming up through football. But it can't be just sport where First Nations people see a pathway. So just in closing, and please feel free to grab me after this if you've got any questions about federal stuff. But it is community leaders that drove that change where 10,000 people turned up in Perth in solidarity, Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians together. But like we have done in footy, in other parts of the economy and other parts of society, there are pathways for us to come together, to work together for a better future. So thanks to the organisers, thanks to everyone for coming. Welcome to Darwin. You've already had a Larrakia welcome, but I look forward to talking to anyone who wants to have a yarn later on. Thank you. Maimak.
Thank you, Mr. Gosling. So now we're running a bit behind time. So if the mob that have lifts to get to Palmerston Golf Club, yelling at me, Palmerston Golf Club, make your way there. But if you want to lift, please make your way to the buses safely, but yet surely. So yeah, we've got to get that going. So yeah, thank you, my ball, for today. Thanks. Hello? Also, another thing, for the mob with all the umbrellas, it's not free. Yeah. So apparently you mob have to put it in the boxes before you jump in the bus. So please do that. Make sure it's all done. Hopefully after this, you mob can keep your umbrellas because you mob are deadly.